Hey there guys, I haven't recorded the Japanese Dark Visions in a while. I figure I'm going to go back and start recording them again. A few of the Japanese players that watch my videos have said, why haven't you been recording it? So I'm going to go ahead and start again. This is Dark Visions number 11. As you can see, I already went and cleared all the stages. Most of them I just went in and face rolled on turn 1, didn't care about my score, so I just did terribly. But we're going to be going back and taking it a little bit more seriously for some re-clears, and this is probably going to be just a single video where I'll edit in every single boss at once. If I remember, I'll put timestamps at the bottom to each boss, but I might just leave it as is because it's already a lot of work doing all these bosses again, so whatever. This is Dark Visions number 11, by the way. So we're going to start with the Fire, Magical, and Earth stage. They're both demons. I went here a minute ago and tried to try-hard it, and I forgot that he does ice damage on turn 1, and I didn't buff ice resist. So we're going to fix that right now. We're going to be using Phasey as our Provoker, Evasion, Cover Tank. We're going to be doing Vaughn for just breaking, Regis for demon killing and buffing AR chains, Garland for chaining fire, Kuja for chaining fire, although he is kind of handicapped on the stage because Kuja's requires using his super powerful burst on turn 1 to unlock his like Omega burst on turn 2. Unfortunately, if you do that on turn 1, it's going to one-shot the boss. So we can't use his optimal damage, but thankfully boss 1s are weak enough that it doesn't matter. And we're going to be using Saul. Now Saul is wrong element. We're going to be doing ice on Saul, but it's fine. He's Neo Visions. He's got ridiculous magic stat, and it's gonna even wrong element is better than bringing like old school Ace and Rem. You know, Ace and Rem are amazing, but they've had their day at this point in JP. So to start off, we're gonna go ahead and shift Saul to his demon killing form, and then we're just gonna triple. We're gonna Magnus, Ice, and then power up. Kuja is going to just do his cooldowns. We're not going to attack the boss, like I mentioned. If we did attack the boss with Kuja, it would one-shot the boss. We're also going to use the cooldowns on Garland. Wait for this to finish. I don't want to do too much damage. Alright, we'll buff Wind Resist on turn 1. Actually, this boss does not do Wind. The next boss does Wind. It's fine, doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and shift Phasey. We'll do an Ice Resist buff for the team. And we'll just do a Magnus. Vaughn will just break the boss right here. Alright, so he's going to do some AoE physical. It's Ice Element. We've now got plus 90 to every resist with, or plus 90 to Ice Resist with Phasey. She's provoking the single target, so we should be immune to everything. We've also powered up. We haven't done Regis's buffs yet, but we'll do that in about 5 seconds. Alright, Regis is going to give us Demon Killer and AR chains. I guess he's got to finish casting. Alright, we're going to AR with Vaughn and Phasey. That's just to build the chain and get that chain score out the way. Garland's going to chain his fire. Now, Kuja, like I mentioned, is nowhere near his max potential right now. That's because we couldn't power him up on turn 1 because it would have one-shot the guy. But this is an Area 1 boss. We're using Neo Visions. It's going to be super easy regardless. So we start the AR chain, and then we jump in with the Chaos Wave Awakened, which caps the chain. It also gives us that plus 60 to the chain score. Normally, quad casting Chaos Wave Awakened with 3 units is only a 95 chains. We added plus 60 with those ARs from Regis. So that was a nice and easy, perfect stage 1. Now we're going to go to stage 2, which is the same weaknesses. It's still fire and earth magic, and it's a demon as well. Diablos. Alright, let me cut the video real quick in case there's mistakes and got to rerun. I don't got to talk all this over again. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, we're going into Diablos. Basically the same thing we just did. The team has not had any changes whatsoever. Yeah, this team was built to handle both the bosses at once. Makes it nice and easy on myself. So we're going to do pretty much the same thing. The difference is this time Kuja should be able to use his power up on turn 1 and not one-shot the guy. In fact, it'll probably even barely hurt the guy, because the second boss is always far stronger. We'll go ahead and power up Saul as well. We will power up Garland. Let's see, Vaughn will break. Regis is going to give us Wind Resist on turn 1. Oh wow, the boss is dying pretty quick, even though we're not chaining. I guess he is kind of squishy. I'm going to go ahead and shift Phasey. We're going to give us a nice resist buff, and we're going to do her Magnus. Alright, so Diablos does wind and ice damage. He also does disease and silence. We don't really care about that. We're immune to all the stuff from our resistance buffing. And then once again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to Demon Killer and AR Chain Grant. Wait for it to finish casting. We're going to go ahead and AR with our support units, while our DPS will quad fire. Well, most of them will. And now Kuja has reached max potential. This is his good burst turn. Now that we set up we did his LB on turn 1. And then Saul just does this. Alright, so we go ahead and start the chain, then we start the other chain. So much tankier, this guy. He didn't die instantly like the other one. I'm not sure if we're going to cap damage. If we do, great. If not, I mean, whatever. I got perfect score in the rest of the categories. Oh, hey, we capped damage on Diablos too. That's not bad. Thank you, Kuja and Garland. Not really. Garland deserves no thanks. I don't like him. I'm still mad at him from the banner. Anyway, there was a perfect score in the first area. Okay, I kind of expected to get like a whatever damage score on the final boss of the first area, but I mean, perfect. Yeah, okay, sure. All right, let me change the team and we'll go to the next area. See you in a sec. All right, guys, we're going to be going to the next magical area to knock it out of the way before I got to swap to a completely physical team. This is going to be magical water or ice, and they're both stone enemies. Here was my first clear from the other day, but we're going to be going with a little bit more serious team this time. We're going to be using Phasey for covering and resist buffing. She'll also be doing a little bit of LB fill. Vaughn is going to be breaking and doing flood on turn 2. The whole team's got a tiny bit of fire resist, which Phasey's going to give us 90% resist to. Poppy's here for stat buffing and Stone Killer. She can buff Stone Killer for the team. Ace is going to be chaining Ice with his Chaos Wave Awakened. We're going to be doing Kuja. Wrong element, unfortunately, but I think he's going to do more damage than Rem, even though it's wrong element. Also, he quad cast Chaos Wave Awakened, so that partners perfectly with Saul, who also quad cast Chaos Wave Awakened, and he needs a quad cast partner. So that means Kuja comes, and Rem is on the bench. Alright, let's give it a go. So, Ace and Saul are proper element. Kuja will just do light with Kuja. So we'll do light because Poppy is going to be buffing light, so that'll help a little bit. Saul is going to use just his cooldown on turn 1. Ace is going to let's see. I want to imbue Ice, but I want to do that last because I don't want to do much damage. Actually, I need to do 3 skills. Okay, so Ace, I want to unlock your better Chaos Wave, buff magic, and then imbue Ice. Alright, let's go ahead and do that before we do anything else. Stop hitting the boss! It's so weak! Alright, Vaughn will break. Poppy is going to power up. Which of these is the Stone Killer? This is the Stone Killer. And we're going to fill LB gauge and hopefully get her LB gauge going. It's close. Alright, we'll use Phasey to fill the rest of the LB gauge. So Phasey will do a resist buff, and we will fill LB gauge for Poppy. So she can LB next turn. There we go. Alright, there'll be some fire attacks that we're immune to now. And some AoE fire, which we don't care about. And AoE fire damage over time, we don't care about. Alright, we're going to go ahead and shift with Saul. And then he will quad cast his ice damage. We're not going to bother with the Magnus because actually the Magnus is higher modifier. Even though we don't need the Demon Killer buff from it, it's still better modifier. Alright, we'll chain Holy. Ace will just chain his Chaos Wave Awakened. Poppy will LB. Vaughn's going to drop a single casted Flood. And Phasey's going to drop a single casted Stardust Ray. Just to build the chain a little bit better. Alright, so we're going to start Vaughn. And then start Daisy. That should be a 100-point chain. Yep, got it. Okay, so the plus Stardust Ray and plus Flood gave us the chain we needed. We actually didn't even need Stardust right now that I think about it. Yeah, Stardust Ray was plus 10. Oh, we did need it actually because we were at 109. So plus 10 Yeah, we did need the Stardust Ray. So okay, that worked out perfect. We got it. Perfect score. Okay, now we're going to go to the next boss. I forgot who even is the next boss in this area. That's not an Esper. What in the world? That's like a dog. Anyway, let me adjust the team, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright guys, this is my first clear on the stone guy from the other day. We're going back. Feels bad, man. We went in there and tried it, and apparently this guy ignores cover with his magic attacks. So Phasey did nothing. So we're bringing Cecil because he can buff fire and lightning resist on turn 1. Phasey can only do one or the other on turn 1. Her resistances have a different split depending on form other than Cecil. The rest of the team has no change other than we gave everyone a minimum of 20% fire and lightning resist, including Poppy and Vaughn. And then Cecil is just evasion provoking with at least 20 fire and lightning. We're not bothering with cover. We don't need. He's also going to Stardust Ray on turn 2. Yep. So we're going for the same general strategy we did a little bit ago. We're just going to set up on turn 1, kill on turn 2. So Kuja is going to chain light element. Saul will just do his boost for turn 1. Ace will unlock Chaos Wave, Magic Buff, Imbue Ice. Poppy will power up, do Stone Killer and LB fill buff. Vaughn will LB, and Cecil will Resistance. And we don't need anything other than a resistance. That's all we brought him for. We don't need a cover because we're immune to everything. I guess we'll do that. Fill a little bit of LB gauge for Poppy. Yep, we're good. Okay. So there's the AoE fire in just a second. There's the AoE fire. There's the AoE lightning that ignores cover. See, this is why I run this in advance and record it now, so I know in the future that ignores cover. So it's good to know. Let's power that up. Let's get a flood ready. Let's just single cast a Stardust Ray. And then we will triple chain. Alright, Kuja, light, 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 light. And then Saul. Saul's going to shift so we can do the ice damage. And we will just ice. Alright, wait for this to finish. Alright. Start Vaughn, start the others, start Cecil. And that should all interleave and get over 100-point chain. Yep, perfect. As far as damage cap, we'll see. Oh, we did not damage cap, but I'm done with this boss. We're moving on. I'm not worried about damage capping. The problem with that one is killers. Yeah, there's like basically no magic killers in the game that I own at least. So Saul only had 50 killer. Ace had quite a bit, but Kuja was wrong element on top of that. Yeah, so magical ice stone killer is like a lost cause for me. We don't have Zahn to share the love on the Japanese server. Okay, let me move along to the physical stages, and I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, we're going to be now going to the physical stages. These are going to be birds that are weak to light and lightning. Here was my first clear. I actually capped damage, just, one-shotting it on turn 1, but I didn't cap chain, so we're going to be doing this for the chain score. We're going to be doing Phasey for resist buffs and chaining AR with the buff from Regis. That's all he's here for, is the AR chaining. Tifa is going to be capping with her Brave Shift form. We've got lots of LB damage and a little bit of Bird Killer. Poppy is going to be imbuing and buffing light. Actually, the imbue is coming from Phasey. She's just going to be buffing and imperiling light. Reagan is going to be chaining with our Laswell. And that's pretty much it. The whole team is immune to blind and sleep. And, oh, I forgot resistance. Oh, yeah, that's right. We can cover the magic on this first boss. So Tifa is going to shift. She's going to Magnus. And she's going to be our breaker because we're not bringing Vaughn this time. So she's going to break defense by 80%. It's not quite as good as Vaughn's, but it's close enough. We're going to imbue light, and we're going to fill LB gauge with Poppy. We're going to buff resistance, and we're going to fill LB gauge with whatever her name is, Phasey. Let's see, Reagan will just unlock triple for next turn. Laswell will guard. And Regis is going to do all his cooldowns. That also fills LB gauge, although apparently we overfilled LB gauge, which is not a problem, you know. I'd rather fill too much than not enough. Okay, so we can cover the magic. It's good to know. Poppy will now imperil and buff light damage. Reagan will chain 3 times. Laswell will chain 3 times. Tifa will delete this boss from existence. And then we'll chain AR with these two to get that chain score going. So we're going to start the chain score, start this, and then... Tifa by herself did 2.14. I saw her hit. Yeah, everyone else's damage was totally irrelevant. Tifa by herself did 2.14 damage. So, thanks guys for contributing, but this was the Tifa show. Alright. Let's move right along to Siren. So let me adjust the team slightly, and we'll see you guys in a sec. Alright guys, we're going to Siren. Same setup, pretty much. This was my first attempt on her. The score was garbage, but I didn't really try very hard. I also didn't bring Tifa. The team has had no changes whatsoever. Something to mention, Siren ambushes with water magic, but guess who's on the team? Oh, you want to ambush with water? I'm sorry, Phasey preemptively covers. You cannot ambush us. Thank you, Phasey. Anyway, we're going to do what we just did. We're going to buff resistance, and we're going to fill LB gauge with Phasey. Regis will just do all his cooldowns. Tifa will get ready for next turn. She's going to Magnus, break, and just whatever. These two can guard. Actually, Reagan needs to unlock triple. And then we're going to fill LB gauge and imbue Holy with Poppy. I know I said Phasey was going to imbue Holy, but I forgot that we wanted to use Phasey to fill LB gauge. So I'm imbuing with Poppy instead. It's fine. Alright. So the boss is powering up for something. Don't care what, because the fight is over. We can do the same thing we just did. Poppy's going to LB for that nice imperil. It also buffs our Holy Element damage by 15%. If we were going longer turns, I could buff our holy damage by 25% with Phasey's LB, but she has to help chain here. Alright, so we're going to start this, we're going to do this, and then we're going to delete with Tifa. I didn't quite see the damage on that. I think Tifa capped again. I thought I saw a big number with a 2 in it. 2.14, thank you Tifa. She makes all the physical stages absolutely trivial. You just bring Tifa and you delete the boss. The only tricky thing is getting that chain score in, but Regis makes that nice and easy. Okay. Time to adjust the team for the next physical area, so Tifa will see you guys in a moment. Alright guys, next up is another physical area. This time the enemies are spirits, and they're weak to wind and darkness. So we're going to be doing wind teams, because Poppy can handle that for us. So the team is literally exactly the same. I changed like 1 or 2 weapons because I don't have any spirit killers. I know you can craft it. I gave Reagan the spirit spear. That's pretty much it. Honestly, now that I think about it, I should give Tifa the spirit spear with the equipped spear material. We're going to try it as it is, and if I cap with Tifa without any spirit killers, that's fine. And we do need earth resist on this boss, so we'll do that. Yeah, if Tifa doesn't cap, I'll just swap and give her equipped spear and the Longinus weapon. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and shift. Let's see, we're going to get ready for next turn, so we'll Regis. We don't need resist with Phasey, so we will power up, imbue wind, and fill LB. Phasey will just fill LB and, I mean, whatever, just resist. Doesn't last well have like a cooldown he can use or something? What does that cooldown even do? I don't even know, but we're going to do it. I never use it. I'm not sure what it does. I didn't cast cover with Phasey, but she has cover just on by default, which is awesome. So we need to imperil wind and imbue wind power. So we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll pretend like these guys chaining are actually doing anything other than building the chain score. Then we will AR and AR. So we're going to AR, chain, and Tifa goodbye. 2.14 from Tifa. I saw the number. Yeah, Tifa. Making these Dark Vision stages real hard. Not really. Alright, perfect score on that one. Next up is Dark Tetra Sylpheed. I might have to adjust the team a little bit for her, so let me adjust the team somewhat, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright guys, the only change I had to make, it looks like, was I had to put a little bit more Holy Resist on Phasey, so she's now at 100 Holy, 100 Earth, and I think that's all we need to change, so let's go in here and get it. The boss does Earth and Light magic. Hopefully none of it ignores cover. If it does, I'll have to adjust the team, but for now, we're just going to assume. Tifa is going to do what she's been doing. Regis has same thing. This is very exciting content. When Tifa exists, Reagan will do this cooldown. Lastwell will do whatever that cooldown does. Poppy will, now that I think about it, Poppy doesn't need to use that cooldown, so we'll do Wind Imbue, that, and a bigger stat buff. Yeah, that's fine. So we actually don't need to fill LB gauge either with Phasey. So I guess we'll... we want Wind, or Earth and Light resist, just in case anything bypasses cover. So that would be the 5-turn cooldown, would be that. And we'll also do this resistance, just in case. Alright, I'm not sure if anything bypasses cover. We'll see. Alright, so apparently cover does work. Oh, we're fine. Alright, turn 2 clear. I wish we had some Spirit Killer. You know, does Regis buff Spirit Killer? Actually, he might, now that I think about it. So we actually might have some Spirit Killer from Regis. It's LB, Tifa, LB, AR, and AR. Alright, so we start this, and Tifa... 2.14 from Tifa. I'm sitting here sweating, not enough killers. Like, Tifa, like, don't care? She don't care about killers. Like, killers, what is that? I do an 800 times limit burst. What do I need killers for? 800 times multiplier with Tifa's LB. After buffs and such. Yeah, it's kind of bonkers. Thanks, Tifa. So I guess I'm at a perfect score, other than that one boss that I didn't cap. Technically, I could go back and work on my score for this dog dude. I didn't quite cap. Apparently, that's the only thing holding me back from a flawless victory is this dog. What was this? Ice magic? Ice and water magic. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't have any stone killers I can give to the team other than Poppy, and we used Poppy, and it didn't work. Okay, anyway, the next area opens in a few hours, actually, but because this video is probably already really long, I think I'm going to split it up into 2 videos. So, I'll see you guys for the final area, which is Dark something. I don't even know. We'll find out in a few hours. I'll see you guys for the next video later.